First, I wanted to get Chaplain Mark Ledbetter, if you want to say a prayer for us, please, sir.
Thank you. Father, first of all, we thank you for the love, the mercy, and the grace that you have extended towards us. God, it's such a privilege to be able to call you Father. We thank you for your love and compassion. God, we pray this evening for the comfort of those individuals, those families who've lost loved ones in this tragic accident that's taking place. God, our first responders face all kind of hazards, but God, we never expect what we encountered recently. We ask that you be with not only them, but all the first responders who know them and help them, encourage them. And Father, I ask for your wisdom and guidance for the council, as they make decisions, that you would give them your wisdom. And God, help them as stewards of our resources to do things that are best for our community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, I'm going to go over the items on the agenda first before we get some people in here on the work session. So we have a sales tax ordinance to adopt if ready. Then request from Mayor Heigl to change names, basically all the records associated to reflect the name change from Code Enforcement to Building Services Department. We have approved revisions to a Sylacauga Personnel and Procedure Policy employee step raise. That's going to be talked about if ready. Action to promote Mike Whetstone, Alexandra Lambert. Change signatories for checks because of the latter. Approving Mayor Heigl for the same. Action for reclassifying the animal shelter manager position, and we look back according to and Cassie and Jane, I don't know if it's been advertised this way, but we talked about AO9 last time, but according to the Auburn plan, it should be an AO8, and I think that's still a significant increase from where it was at.
We didn't use the Auburn plan though. You say it.
Right, but
we don't have
that
a
reflection
department.
of Auburn plan would put us at an AO8 with the 47 and some change. So I think that's where we would need to go, is the AO8 versus the AO9 to keep just what we had talked about the whole time.
I understand, but I do need to tell you this, we don't have a department head lower than an AO9 in our system currently. Just need to let you know that.
That's fine.
Okay.
We have establishing animal shelters as a separate department. We're moving that report out from under Reed, so good on that. Reed.
Congratulations, Reed.
And that won't be any of your worries anymore.
I do.
Appointment of the Board of Education, Mayor's appointment of Jeff Turner Planning Commission, Police Chief's going to get them some new cars, get the necessary improvements for the K9 vehicle, camera and cage system, and we have access necessary to approve a Civil Service Board ruling. We have training. So now we have the Dean of CAC, Jeff Flynn here, going to update us on some happenings over there at Central Alabama.
Thank you very much. I'm Jeff. I'm the president of Central Alabama Community College, and just want to give you a quick update. I saw Laura at a meeting the other night, and then so start about needing to come in and kind of talk to you. The mayor and I, we see each other occasionally from the SAFE board, and so I'll go through this rapidly, and then I can send an email to a PDF copy of this later if you want to. But we cover 7 counties that we have here. We also have 4 different locations: Alex City, Childersburg, Talladega, and a new campus in Prattville. We do a significant amount of workforce programs, and I'll talk about a fair amount of those. We're bringing back a lot more. That's more of my background is workforce economic development in my previous lives. And so these are just a few. I don't want to go through all of them because I know you've got a busy schedule. We do a significant amount of adult education as well. We have 14 different locations spread across. Adult education is about 400,000 people qualify for it in the state of Alabama, so it's really important for me to make sure we get the GED or high school equivalents, and then put them into a pathway, either in healthcare, manufacturing, logistics, whatever, and get them a job, and so help them find employment. So that's really critical. Dual enrollment, we've been really pushing dual enrollment very much, so we're up 43% since I joined. I joined CAC about 2.5 years ago, and got right in the middle of COVID. We were, things were kind of fluid there, and so it's been very interesting. Our dual enrollment is really good, thanks to our legislature for helping us fund all of that. And so I've had the pleasure, I'm from Alabama, raised in Alabama, but I left the state for a while. I was in Georgia, Louisiana, and then came back. And our state really takes good care of our high school students for dual enrollment, like no other state that I've ever seen. So very, very thankful. I try to do things and listen to companies, both aspirational companies to bring into the community or for recruiting and also taking care of companies. So I was able to sign a deal with Intel last year. We're the first and only 2-year or 4-year school teaching AI, artificial intelligence. And so when I started the program, I've had a lot of traditional manufacturing companies come to us and ask, can we fly in people from other locations across the nation and take classes there and then fly them back? And I'm like, absolutely. So AI is here, y'all know that. And so what we got to do is start really preparing our mechatronics maintenance people how to work with that, and then also tie into cyber as well. So this is the first piece of equipment like this in the state of Alabama as well. I purchased this. This is manufacturing 4.0. It's more sophisticated with the MES systems, sensors, cyber, SCADA systems, a lot of different things that our manufacturers really need the maintenance technicians trained at that level. And so we're delivering that training now like we've never done before. We've got the first marine technology program going as well with all the lakes. And you know, if you got a boat, you've had it repaired lately, you know what I'm talking about. It's very, very expensive because you can't find labor. So we're trying to equalize that and bring this on. So this is a brand new program that we've started up and working with a lot of the marinas and companies across this region. We have a lot of things called Skills for Success. I'm just going to highlight a couple of them. There's going to be about 50 of them, from plumbing to electronics to whatever. We just did a skid steer class a couple weekends ago and qualified these people. So once you go through this program, you take a 30-hour online class and then you take a lab. And the lab could be doing plumbing, electrical, or in this case, skid steer. We're going to start some heavy equipment for large bulldozers and stuff like that. So if you have needs, let me know. I'll leave some cards here. We want to be a great partner for Sylacauga, and that's why I'm here, just to kind of share the things that we're doing. A lot of new things. Of course, we do CDL. We're expanding that to Childersburg in a major way. I just want to highlight these two recent grads. They're our 5th and 6th people to go through CDL, and they're deaf. No one would take them in their class. We took them in our class. We got them trained, and they are working. They're making $55,000 a year. The disabled employment is 70% is unemployment for that group of people. So we're trying to do everything we possibly can to help them. We're doing dual enrollment up in Talladega for AIDB and Gentry and stuff like that. So we're actually training them how to work in manufacturing as well. So we feel like we need to. Our apprentice program now is growing. We're the 2nd largest in the United States, 2nd largest in Alabama. The reason why in the United States is because there's no other apprenticeship programs for nursing outside of Alabama, believe it or not. So, and it has just grown. So we had 35 registered apprenticeships. This fall we're gonna have 65. So it's growing, and a lot of companies around here hire our employees and work. They work and go to school at the same time. So that's going really well for us as well. Have a lot of academic partnerships. AUM, the beauty about AUM and some of the other ones, they actually pay CAC rate, the CAC tuition. We're 1/3 the cost of a 4-year school. You know, nothing against our 4-year friends. We want to supply them. We just think we can do it a lot more affordable, and everything we teach is actually transferable to that 4-year school. So, and then there's a couple more too. We're actually part of Region 2 here. CAC falls in Region 5 and 2, but Talladega, so I'm not going to bore you with a lot of data, but I use a lot of data to make intelligent decisions for programs that we offer or programs that we cancel because we may not need them. And so if you look in Region 2 right here, like our poverty rate is 18% versus the 17% for the state. Our income assistance is 11.2 versus 8.4 for the state. So we look at those and we have programs where we'll get into the housing authority. We start teaching kids how to read. We give computers. We'll donate computers that are old that we don't need anymore. So we feel like that we need to get into the community. We want the community on our campus, and it's just a big partnership. And so, and that's part of our name is community college. So we want to do better. So if y'all have ideas that we can do here, we're all in. We want to do our service and just help out as best we can. We did an economic impact investment for just CAC, our 7 counties. This is just for 1 year with a little over 2,100 students. Our annual payroll is $9.8 million. So we pay a lot into this area. We have a $1.7 million that we receive in tuition. And I can go into more detail about any of this stuff if you need me to. Our total added income to the area is $76.8 million. That's in 7 counties. Totally statewide, we're $6.6 billion with 24 community colleges, but our portion is $76.8. Of course, we want to grow that, and we think we can when we offer more programs that are needed. And we help support 1,239 jobs throughout the region as well. So little things that we do in the community, these are things like we got our gym cleaned out. We hosted some regional basketball games for some of our high schools, and we hosted, let's see if this worked. The middle one is we had 700 high school or second grade students in to learn about America and liberty, and so we hosted them for an event at our Prattville campus. We had some military veterans events that we hosted. Those were very, very successful. 4-H, we started our music program back. That was dormant for about 8 years, so we started that back. Our next concert's May the 5th, so if you don't have any plans, come down to our auditorium in Ellick City on the 5th at 7. The nutrition center, they needed a place for that, the city, and so I'm like, bring them on. So we cleaned out an area, so we have all of the senior citizens come into our campus every day at noon. They eat, and then they use our track to go out and exercise. So we're going to start some programs with them very soon. On and on and on and on. So more programs, the more we can do. This is a quick video, and then I'll answer any questions.
Very few communities have access to a community college right in their community. You know, I said all the time, we have cats right in our backyard.
Well, in Humboldt County, we made a concerted effort approximately 5 years ago to increase the participation in our career tech program. We shifted all of our dual enrollment in academic programs to our career technical center and ran them through Central Alabama Community College at that location. We went from 350 students initially to over 1,000 students participating in our program.
Of course, as a county commissioner, you always want to look at the economic impact of what this institution's bringing or what this business bringing. We've had teachers that have retired, that have gone on to work at CAC. To me, that's a huge economic impact. But we're not sending a lot of tax dollars back, but that gives an individual in our county the opportunity to stay in our county.
Generally, a dollar sends over 7 times. If we can keep our workforce here in Prattville, then that means the dollar that they bring in, whether they live outside of the general area of Prattville, but they still live here, they bring those dollars back, so you can have an impact is huge.
CAC has been able to come in and really talk to the leaders in our community and in our business community and what they need, and they've been able to tailor their programs to help educate the workforce for those specific needs.
The training, technical, and formal education is provided by Central Alabama Community College is essential for LEC to train our workforce.
It is so important to this community in providing that affordable education to our students.
We have the entire spectrum in our school system, and when you make college affordable, you bring it down for all of those students.
We really need affordable education in our communities. That's been a hole that we've had in most of my Senate district. CAC has been able to come in and fill that void and provide for that affordable education, but not just affordable, but affordable and usable locally.
It's essential that the college be here to help bring the people from the community in on this campus.
The importance of CAC to the community is what it gives to the community. Everything from music, the shows that we have here, to the way we involve the community in our racquetball and tennis court, pickleball. Everything that CAC does is community oriented.
The community is there, the community is welcome there. We go in, have meetings, have luncheons. They are a valuable partner in our community.
A community is only as strong or as good as what it can offer to help others. We're able to do that with CAC.
Dr. Lynn has taken on just tremendous leadership to spearhead a presence in the Elmore-Togda County area. He immediately started turning his campus around.
The leadership is so engaged in our communities.
CAC has done a great job of communicating not only with the elected officials, with our citizens, and the educators around, and that's what it's gonna take.
He has done an excellent job of developing relationships with the superintendent. I believe that's critical to assess the needs for what we need to do here. I am very optimistic that we have the right people in the right place to start determining where we need to spend our time and effort.
I think the importance of CAC to this community, I have a hard time articulating it because it is just that great.
It just feels like home here. The classes are smaller, the teachers are welcoming, and they're able to help you, and they like to help you. They offer it.
I think it's extremely important to have a community college in your area. That's a key part to economic development.
Our community leaders, our business leaders are engaged with CAC. It gives us that stepping stone. It gives us that validation with the other communities around us and with the state.
It opens up avenues for our students that they wouldn't have before. If you navigate it through CAC, either through dual enrollment or a year or two after you graduate from high school, you're better prepared to know what college means.
It's so important to have this school in our district. This is the catalyst for all things good. Education is the same thing as health, it's the same thing as water and sewage and all the things you have to make an area grow. I see this as a critical part of how we develop in the future. We couldn't do without the school.
We're ready for our future, and the CAC is gonna be a big part of that, I think we all will be proud of decades to come.
So it's a quick overview. I just want to appreciate the time to come in. I just want to introduce myself, and we want to be partners with you. And so if there's anything we can do to help out, how you doing? So good to see you.
We need to update that video.
Yeah, and so we just want to be great partners for y'all and stuff like that. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for taking the time to come out here and inform
Absolutely.
us. There's a lot more going on than the average person knows over there. So.
Well, there's a lot. I had to truncate this a lot, so there's a lot more. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. But if you have questions, then I think we're going to have a meeting. Maybe look at. We're partnering with a lot of communities for either apprenticeship or skilled labor or anything like that. CDL, whatever. With Alex City, with Prattville, Talbot County, Elmore County, etc. Doing some training for DOC drivers, etc., etc. So anything y'all need, just let me know.
What was the time on
See
the
you
fifth?
again.
Before you joined CAC, pre-pandemic, there were discussions of mergers with several community colleges. Is that off the table now? And
Yes, sir, it is. What we're looking at is more shared services. So, I'll give you an example, like we have a really strong CFO, and so now we have a regional CFO over 3 schools, Southern Union CAC and CBCC.
So it's coordinated rather than.
It's coordinated, and then I come from business world, so we want to buy in bulk and save millions of dollars over the year. And instead of everybody sending their POs in there and cutting POs, why not just order the same thing from the same vendor and try to save money? We need to be efficient, and then we need to get efficient every day. And I failed to introduce our rock star, Cynthia. This is Cindy. Stand up, please. So Cindy Intrican. So a lot of you already know Cindy. She lives in the community and everything like that. We're so fortunate to have Cindy at our team and stuff like that. She runs all the institutional data for us, and so data is really important. And so we use it to make decisions and stuff like that. So did that answer your question? Okay.
I will have to
Thank you.
mention that we have the largest number of dual enrollment students.
That's awesome.
Are coming
Taking
from
advantage of it right
Sylacauga
down the
High
road.
School. And are y'all headed to the high school for the dual enrollment meeting?
No, I've got to run back for another meeting in Alex City. So, but thank you so much for your
Yes,
time.
sir. Thank you.
Mayor, thank you.
Thank you
Okay.
for making time for us.
You're
right,
Thank you.
Dr. Eller, too, and I said, I can say from experience, it does prepare our kids when they get to college, because when my daughter went to college last year, it was, her first year has been a breeze. She did dual enrollment.
I went to
years.
CAC. So, I'm a fan.
I went to
I'm a
work.
That's why that video needs to be updated.
All right, so now we have discussion of the sales tax ordinance. We're talking about earmarking percentages of the increase, and I tried to kind of reach out and put some fillers out, but we need several earmarking percentages towards police, fire, infrastructure, meaning drainages and stuff, and sewage drainage. Paving as its own, because I'm sure we'll always find a place to pave. And what that does is we want to look at divvying up, so to speak, the percentages of the new revenue coming in from the increase, so everyone in the city knows where that money's going to. And we also added, like we talked about last time, we took the appropriated rate of that sales tax increase and added it to the others that are on that resolution, on that ordinance, which are the manufacturer tax
These are
and all
the
that.
increases.
Yeah, so they're on the far right side, that'll be all in the same ordinance tonight. So, how do y'all wanna attack these percentages? Yeah, but we either do, just, goodness gracious, we do specific percentages, and we need to, if we do that, we need to put it in the in the ordinance, you know, to be a permanent nature, so.
She can just do a certain percentage of the total increase overall, just like. Does
No, I mean,
make
that,
sense?
just say, we always use that blanket number of 4.1, was that general increase, the 1.5% increase would generate about 4.1 from the as-is revenue.
So I'm saying, are you talking about to basically put a dollar amount on it, or just a
The
percentage? That's what I'm
percentage of
saying.
that 4.1 goes here, 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 here.
How much is going to police, how much is going to street,
But that's
how
what I'm
much is
saying,
going
but
there?
can't you just give, why not just give, you don't wanna give everybody the same percentage, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So.
Because everybody's gonna have different needs.
Yeah, but, and, you know, they're not all right now, they're gonna have to be set to, like I said, police, fire, infrastructure is gonna be big with the drainage system, the waterways, and then the paving is gonna be separate in its own.
Because when this happens, the people's gonna wanna know where all the money's going.
Right.
No, I know, I'm over here thinking,
I got you.
I was really thinking about, police, fire, and street being the same, that's what I was thinking in my head,
Yeah,
is for.
well, after talking with the chiefs and stuff, it really, the needs vary, and they're not the same year to year, and they're so different and complex, it would be easier to have a percentage for each.
I know it.
And
but
then with street would fall under like infrastructure.
But then with the percentage though, even if they get that certain percentage, that doesn't mean that's what they spend that year, right?
No,
So
this
can there
isn't,
be
this
like
is
a-
for, this isn't for budgeting purposes.
I know.
Okay.
For their
the
operation.
That's what I'm thinking, I'm thinking maybe.
No, it can't, you don't have to spend it every year.
Yeah, it's not for operational
You'll want to
budget.
put back money also to pay, because you may have to borrow some more money.
Yeah,
You'll
well,
want to put back money to pay.
Old
we
and new
actually
debt
been-
service.
So once the money is, earmarked, the certain percentages earmarked for the certain departments, does that go into a reserve just for that department, or will it won't go into the general
You
account?
don't earmark it,
Okay,
and that's what you really need to do is earmark it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like if we earmark paving, it would in a sense go to the street department, but it could only be used
No,
for paving.
it would go into a paving earmark.
That's what I was thinking, okay, so it's not gonna be specific city
And
department.
so that account would just,
With
each
that
year, that
example.
certain amount would go in, and it would just grow, because we're not gonna need to pay you every year, basically, okay.
But we don't have
And
those
the thing
numbers
with the
ready yet.
street now, the paving isn't their only expense. So
Yeah.
if you put in for paving, you may have also their equipment, you need to look at some of their equipment, some of the most expensive.
Yeah, this isn't for putting towards like every department, and you know, it's for
not
police
for-
and fire, and for more along the capital side of things, and upkeep and the maintenance, and we have recreation to keep in mind and all that.
It's not for regular operating, it's for
So-
things we know
That's the
that
reason I
can
was
be-
We're gonna have to get
saying some of their
together.
equipment, the
I
street
spent
department
2
equipment
weeks
is more
trying to
expensive
call
than
and
the-
talk to people and get percentages, and I can't get anywhere, so I don't know what y'all wanna do, but you need to make something up. I don't know how else to proceed when I've been trying to, I don't know. I need some percentages, obviously we can't just pull them out of the hat right now, so.
So we need to look at the total amount of money that needs to be spent and then be able to parse it up with percentages. We need to look, for example, at a paving allowance. We know that the next wave of paving will cost us $3 to $5 million. We need to try to plan that out over the next few years and,
We've got our different tax attorneys who have the spreadsheets that you plug in, whatever. Now that we know it's that 1.5, we plug that in and put in the different amounts, whether it's the paving, the new, a new fire truck, whatever, you know, like Walter can do all that, and then come out with a total of what it costs and a total surplus based off
So
of
do
that.
you need to push this to the next meeting?
We can, yeah, but I
Since you
would
don't
like
have
some
percentages?
cooperation and people to talk.
Do y'all
Let's get
need
this
to have
figured
a
out.
work session just to hash it out amongst you all?
I probably
just
don't need to
see?
be at that work session.
Okay.
I mean, I'm
Well,
not
I'm
for
just-
tax increase, I feel like we need to look at where we can cut first and
if there's any departments we can cut in, there's some of the extended things that we give to before we consider raising taxes. I just think that it's going to only hurt the people that are already hurting from inflation right now. So, I mean, I'm not one to have that conversation either, I don't think, but
Well, we should have a work session to go over the numbers. Inevitably, it's gonna be approved at some point in time, and we need to be able to have a plan on the shelf rather than just not planning.
And then too, thinking, I guess moving forward, when you say things like capital and especially with police and fire, maybe you guys can include in your plan, because you know you're gonna probably, to get caught up, you're gonna have to buy some cars for every year for a couple of years, you know what I'm saying?
That'd be that percentage towards police.
Yeah, so maybe that can help you come up with your percentage, that's what I'm saying.
And the bottom line is that we know we're gonna have to buy $1 million plus fire truck, and we don't have the money to buy $1.5 million plus the fire truck, so we need to be able to work that into the plan.
And after you buy that $1.5 million fire truck, how many more years are you gonna need another one? So that's what can help you
And
come
light
up.
duty vehicles right now they're in need of.
But that's what I'm saying, so that should,
I mean, we got a lot to get
To be the-
needs, not wants. We got a lot of needs and there's fund them, so.
but too, and to also plan ahead, because even if you fix it now, you don't wanna be 5 years down the road and be back in the same position that you're in now. So,
We're gonna have to meet again before 2 weeks to have some idea of percentages.
why not
I mean,
just, 'cause have you already decided what are you gonna do, a cent and a half?
mm, Yeah,
So just get a list of what you wanna allocate it towards.
we did, that's what I'm saying.
You already got the list, so just,
And it also makes sense to allocate some of the proceeds toward early retirement of debt, which frees up more money.
New and old
because-
debt, yeah.
Because we pay off the old debt, which gives us more real-time cash that we can spend, so all that needs to figure into the formula.
Old debt and new debt.
Yes.
and two, I know we keep saying let's push it and this and that. Seems like we're already in debt because we're owing things that we're not gonna be able to afford next year.
We'll never be out of debt, but we're just making the case worse, throwing wood on the fire.
We're not out of debt, I mean, basically in the red,
Yeah,
as of right now.
Well, we've always had a balanced budget, and now we're spending money that we don't have in the budget, so we have to rectify that.
we have to get this done, we have to have this meeting, we have to have the percentages, so it's a nice, clean and neat ordinance, and then we could pass it at the next meeting in April.
How long you think this meeting needs to be?
For the percentage stuff,
Yeah.
we could hash out 30 minutes in my mind. There's only a few options we can go with, it's just the fact of what percentage goes where.
Do you have to call Walter and talk to him?
It'd be nice to have him here, he could
We're
come.
just about phone.
Yeah, that's fine. He's got a nice little spreadsheet, you can automatically punch the percentages in and it pops up real time so we can see
He don't
that.
charge by phone, does
If you charge my phone, I'd be rich.
I understand.
So, yeah, do you wanna talk with Walter, see when he's available, or we make a date and say, be here?
Is it realistic to have it 30 minutes before the next work session, or is that not realistic?
I wouldn't wanna chance it.
We've gotta
No,
put all
you
the
would need
language
to have that
together.
ordinance ready, that's gonna take a little bit of time.
So,
Someday next week.
yeah. So you got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday's open for me. Next week,
Thursday's fine.
11, 12, 13.
Monday, Thursday.
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Check.
I do have one on Tuesday, never mind. Wednesday would be good.
Yeah, Wednesday would be ideal for me.
Wednesday the 12th, what time?
5:30.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
12. Yeah.
Should take no longer than 45 minutes.
why you just so late, why 5:30?
I was just thinking of letting everybody get off their bus routes and, but we can do early, I can do any time. Whatever you want.
Let's just go 5:30 is fine with me. At least we'll be here. We won't have to rush.
She may have something going on.
That's what I'm trying to say.
After
It's
5:30.
Well, it don't matter. It's
Oh, I was
not-
thinking of you trying to get here before.
I make sure this is important to me. I accommodate you guys. But if we
So
still
that's what
wanna
I'm
be
asking,
early,
is 5:30 alright?
let's do 5. If it's only gonna take 45
I
minutes.
mean, you got soccer home all next week.
Exactly. Well,
I know
think
that
we
for a
got
fact,
soccer
cause you've got
tonight, too.
area.
5 o'clock Wednesday the 12th.
You do want Walter here.
Yes, I'll call him.
Or available by phone, but,
Yeah,
I mean, that's just.
I'll call him. He will answer.
Ching.
We have a discussion, other revisions on the educational / step raise procedure B. I will say this before we dive into that. The educational policy, there's been a lot of confusion because there's separate rules for promotions versus new hires. And then Jane's given us a lot of information, and I know we kind of confuse ourselves a little bit, so Lee, go.
Well, again, my concern is this before hire language, as it is written, and as it would be interpreted by the Civil Service Board if they were reading it. A step raise may be recommended for employees based on certifications earned before hire. I believe that opens up a can of worms where we'll start having people start seeking compensation for things they've earned before hire. When we hire somebody for the first time, all of that is considered at the point of hire. But before hire, rather than during employment, could mean that dozens of people come and ask for additional money because they have certifications and now relate to their job that they forgot
So
about.
that, should that just say at hire?
No, it just said before hire or should be crossed out, and it should be earned during employment with the city.
But,
It's
Can I
not
say
very
something?
competitive.
what, can I say something? What, if in fact this goes into, place, is this retroactive or does this have a start date? That's what let me ask this, how does this work?
As the way it's written, there's been email discussions that it's not retroactive, but the way it is written as a legal document, it is retroactive, can be retroactive. It can be stuff that's earned
Well,
retroactive.
I got a question, can you not just read into the minutes?
Nope,
not
that
legally
doesn't
binding.
Or-
bind it.
I see what everybody's saying, but I think if somebody has the knowledge and the degree.
They ought to be compensated for
Yeah,
it.
if we're
I agree.
hiring them for it because people go and get schooling to get certain jobs.
But you're mixing two. You can do that when you hire them. You can always say, we need to move it
Okay.
into step X, step X, step X.
But what he's saying is, it
This means-
shouldn't be retroactive, it should have a
He's
start
talking about
date.
current
This
employees
means
once
that
this
a current
goes into
employee
effect.
can say, I forgot that I have this degree, I now need to be paid for this degree.
Alright, is that easy to fix?
You're not just
Ms.
put it's
Jane?
not
It will have to be
retroactive
reposted.
prior to this date.
I'm still
I'm
confused.
not clear on exactly what he wants.
Remove before hire or. Strike that, and then everything is fine.
Because in a sense, when you're hiring somebody for the first time, all that's
You
gonna
have the
be,
flexibility.
we have
Right.
flexibility to put them in whatever spot, so that's gonna be taken care of.
So that means it should have a start date on it.
What, this policy?
Yeah.
That's
but
when we
it's-
approve
For
it.
the day it's effective.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, so it's a start date, it's not retroactive, that means
Correct.
starting on, July the 1st,
That's right.
2023,
Yeah.
from now on,
When you get hired, yeah.
depending on what educational background you have, that depends on what step you would go.
That's
to.
right.
But
But
that
you-
makes
but
sense.
you can already do that, but you can already do that. Right,
That's what
right-
I'm thinking,
right-
because
right
it's
now-
a policy that's starting July the
Yeah.
1st, is that what you're
Right.
saying?
It
But
doesn't
it
matter what
means
you
that-
had June 30th, it's starting June.
But it means that
Prior
anybody
policy
who has
already
a prior
says
degree,
that.
prior policy already has that.
What's
in it.
the devil's advocate of striking the before hire?
in it.
Have to
Well, we
repost
don't need
it.
to change
We
it,
have
so.
been
So are we
inconsistent and we
already-
are liable because we select certain people and offer, give credit for degrees. We need to fix this. It has nothing to do.
Follow the rules rather than establish new precedent that doesn't follow the rules.
So we're already compensating people when we hire them,
You
right?
are. And that is not right.
Why? That's fair.
It's not fair to everybody. You're giving
it's
certain
not
ones
fair.
and certain departments, depending on who the department is, credit for their degrees.
It's absolutely fair.
I don't know,
It's
I think I'm
fair and
confused.
consistent and clear as a
So are we
bell.
You're not consistent. That's
Are we
the whole
consistent?
issue.
I'm so confused. So are we treating people good or not?
No,
the-
we're not.
The point is that any current employee, not somebody you're hiring, a current employee can claim that they have certifications they forgot to mention
Before.
and
Oh.
get
Now,
away.
I get that
Okay,
part,
I get it.
I'm with you on
Okay.
that.
We're trying to figure out how to stop it.
We're trying to figure, I get that part.
But the
And what
policy
you-
says-
but all you do is take out those 3 words and you can consider their prior qualifications when you hire them for the first time.
That's okay. But if they get a degree or
Wow.
earn something while working in that field,
While they're an employee,
So,
they're entitled to a raise.
so if you take out the language, how do you ensure that your consideration of somebody's education at the time of hire is applied consistently?
It shouldn't be.
It should be, but it's not written.
Supposed to review.
why is it not?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
and do we have employees that have not been treated fairly for,
Who? Cause I'm,
No, we ain't name dropping right now.
no, I mean, not, but
we
I
do
mean,
everything else.
Ma'am,
Could I possibly give you a hypothetical? Okay?
hypothetical's not real good, but go ahead.
Let's say that you have an employee who is at hire, hired in with the court department, okay? And they have a certification that coincides with the court department and they got credit for it.
Okay.
They change departments, they go to city clerk's office. It no longer applies, or they have a degree that didn't apply to court, but it applies to the city clerk's office.
And they're applying for a new position.
Okay, and they apply for a new position, and it's up to them
considered
to
at
make
that time.
sure that they say, hey, I got this. You can't get hired and then come back later on and say, hey, I didn't know I can get paid for this, and now I got it.
But that would depend on the department head making that request.
But why do I have to request it when you have to fill out an application, you have to apply for a job. So when I go and apply for a job,
Putting
I don't
everything
bring a
on
list
there.
of everything I got, cause I don't know what I can get paid for. So if I forgot to mention it, that's on me.
But if you don't get it while you're here, you can't get credit for it.
That's not what it says.
Working.
That's not what it's, that's not what that says. So you're a police officer. Well, you may be a nurse on the side. We don't know. So once you go to be a nurse, you're gonna tell them, hey, I used to be a nurse, right? You're not gonna forget that you used to do this.
Does the policy say that you get credit for it at the time of the hire, or you have to gain that degree after you've been hired?
It says you have to obtain the degree
During
during employment.
during.
So if I walk in with a degree,
But that's
You
not
can
what
deal-
you
that's
you can
not
deal
what
with that-
this
you
is.
can deal
But
with
when
that
you're
with
hired,
steps.
it's considered.
You can hire up to 3 steps.
The
Yes.
degree's considered if
So
you
it's
have it
con-
upon hire.
It's considered while you're hired,
Exactly.
and if you obtain it while working here, it should still be
Qualified.
considered.
It's the same thing.
But you still have to, that's just like, if Yolanda, she's an accountant. If Yolanda wants to be a police officer, she still needs to tell Kelly her background, all her background that she has, so it can be considered.
And any steps.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't apply for a
Tiffany.
job and forget.
I've got an example, and this is a pretty good one. You've never worked for the city. You apply for the job. You come in, doesn't really matter what department you work for, but the one you chose to work for, you have a degree. Well, you've never seen the handbook. You don't know the rules. And your department head may or may not offer that. That's the issue.
I don't, Jane, I can't agree with that. I guess I don't get that,
Okay.
because if I'm coming in and I'm applying for a job,
Selling yourself.
I'm just, I don't know.
You can't make.
You're listing all your
everyone get
qualifications.
But what I'm saying,
Excuse me.
credit.
and once you take a job, I'm pretty sure the job is, they tell you what you're gonna be doing, they tell you what you're gonna get paid and what you're gonna be doing before you even take the offer. So you're not walking in blindly, you're not walking in thinking you're finna have an office job and then you get handed a weed eater. Come on, I'm just saying.
So can we take the before hire out and have the,
Have to repost for 10 days.
and have a repost, but we can,
Because we took one word out.
But if you
Yeah.
take before hire out, but they're still, it's
No.
still gonna be considered when they're hired,
Sir.
right?
I have to deal with issues based on what's passed here as
Yes,
city
sir.
attorney. And that is just opening the door for someone to say that I saw in that 10-day posting, it says that I get it.
So you're saying we have to, that's why we're
Yes.
gonna repost it, I
And
guess.
it's not gonna delay anything more than 2 weeks
Be
anyway.
ready for the next meeting.
But still, you don't, all I'm saying is, this isn't, whatever the change is, it's not gonna mess people up when they come through the door with certifications or degrees.
Because we still have a 3-step discretion.
Okay, alright, and then even if they obtain it while here, they still get
It's a
compensated
whole
for
nother,
it.
yeah.
Okay,
So we're good there. If we can just take the before and our out, we do it.
So let's repost.
And Tiffany, I agree with that. I agree with what they
Okay.
said.
All right, we got a big packet of information here for
well, you know, I'm
the
the crazy one, I'm
time
always
clock
the one who
implementation.
so
Yes.
it takes a little extra explaining and then.
You ain't gonna forget about it.
You have a packet here.
You ain't gonna forget about it. Mascara.
Are you gonna want to do that?
Oh, you got it now.
But what I'm saying, are you gonna show up?
All right.
To go in and get
Time clock.
You ain't been on before.
You got your packet.
And everyone, you should have a binder clip of a packet of information there for you. I try to do the front sheet to kind of break it down a little easier so you know what you're comparing. Payroll software is a program that we have been trying to look into for the last 2 years. So this is not something that has not been thoroughly researched, thoroughly vetted. We are trying to find what's best for the city, best implementations, and be able to be accountable, be good stewards of taxpayers' dollars, even within our time and our attendance and our salary that are put out there. The expense has a little bit of a sticker shock, I will admit that. The time clocks themselves, what you're looking at is, it would be 9 physical time clocks. There are 8 locations, the 9th one would be a spare. If we ever had, for some reason, one go down, we could immediately put up the spare while the other one is being fixed under warranty. There is a subscription fee that is there for throughout the year being able to utilize the service. Currently, we are entirely manual. That means everything is hand-keyed by some person.
Wow.
And it's actually done in triplicate, at least, sometimes 4 people throughout the process. That's our goal, honestly, is to lessen the workload on everyone and be able to have accessibility for the supervisors, for the employees themselves, right at their fingertips. They can know exactly how much sick, how
Well,
much
you
vacation.
can, I know with Cronus we used it, and you can pull out department by department, section by section, look at it, and you can send it to the supervisor and say, hey, here's your employees, such and such was late, was there a reason why? No, alright, he's late, or yes, it's a mulligan, alright, cool, and we just keep going, instead of phone calls and emails and text and back and forth.
I like the checks and balances that it provides as well, you know.
I know we clock in and out at school, and quite frankly, I love it because I can do all my sick time, my personal, if I need to take a personal day, I hit the button, it sends it to my supervisor, he approves it, it's over. So, and I know the county uses, Chronos, and they really like it.
So this at the bottom, this is the one-time fee and then the annual fee on top?
Yes, that would be your subscription cost up on that top line, and basically the all-in cost for.
You are talking about going with which one are you
When I've looked
recommending?
through, I feel like the best fit is gonna be the UKG Chronos. I feel like that is, with
It's
the
most
city,
popular for sure.
we are able to customize it the most to fit exactly what the city needs. And by doing that, they have a long reputation, both in municipal and public entities, whether it's education or different places. And they have a very, very high rating, very.
Let me ask you a
It's
quick
double the
question.
cost though.
The maintenance, is that per time clock? So does the 9th one, the spare one, is that extra maintenance cost even though it's sitting there?
Okay, the only vendor that asked for a maintenance to be built into it was the TCP, the Time Clock Plus. There's only 8 quoted there, and they require a maintenance contract. It's between $3,000 to $4,000
Okay.
per year. And they did quote us off of doing a 36-month contract, so.
Do any of these correspond with, I know y'all use something called Springbrook.
Yes.
Do any of these correspond with that?
The UKG or Chronos and Time Clock Plus both have integrated with Springbrook numerous times, no problems. Web payroll, they do feel confident that they can, but they have never worked with Springbrook.
So what's the cons of Time Clock Plus since it's half the price?
Time Clock Plus it's a good system. However, I believe Chronos offers a few more features that we need here at the city. When you're looking at Time Clock Plus, they have even said out of their own mouth, you're looking at kind of a mid-range company. What they offer us would be a little bit more restricted, a little bit less customizable, so we would have to fit kind of to a degree within their sets.
Parameters.
Exactly, where UKG, like I said, they're entirely customizable.
So every employee would use a time clock?
Yes.
Would they have like a card that stayed there, they swipe and go?
With the time clocks that we have, it's facial recognition, so they walk up to the time clock, it sees them, pulls their information, and clocks them in.
Don't you use
Checks and
that?
And this
balances, I
would
like
also,
it.
Thank you.
of the 8, this also includes the new animal shelter as
Yes.
a location, so it's every place where anybody reports to work.
They don't have to
Yes.
traffic clock in or nothing?
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Exactly.
I like, Cassie, good job, girl, I like it.
So, I mean, which one would we rather, I mean,
I like Chronos.
would you,
We paying for it out of
we
the county.
obviously know Kronos is the best. I mean, I know many people that use them.
You haven't talked about that yet.
Well, okay, do we know how much money we have in capital?
Well, you might wanna wait until you decide on police cars tonight.
So that's coming out.
I
I'm sure
thought that was already budgeted.
So do we back on?
No,
But are we
Well, you
gonna
got-
capital budget.
finance, or
You
are
have
we gonna
options.
split
Still,
it straight
still
out?
it's a capital
We have a
finance
couple
that
options.
counts against the.
We're either gonna pay cash or financing.
I guess we need to talk about that then, don't we?
Let me make one more statement,
Okay.
and I apologize. There is a little bit of a time sensitivity with the payroll software. Ideally, it's a 3-month build, and then we'd be able to kind of work the kinks out and be able to implement January 1. But our police department time clock's going down. We can't replace the parts anymore. We can't get cards for it anymore. We can't get ribbons. I know Street and Shop, theirs has been, they're using it, but it's very light, it's very difficult to read. And so,
Just replace
The paper.
we did, okay.
That's
So,
crazy.
so,
Talking about paper.
Wow.
exactly. And so, we're gonna have to change the way we do things if we don't implement a system.
Okay. Alright, will UKG, would they come in and do like training
Yes,
for department heads and everyone that's involved with it?
yes,
Good.
Well, they set everybody up to.
yes. That's part of the build process.
I like it.
Good, I like it, I like the UKG
Just
part.
need to find it.
So what is, obviously the Kronos is the one we would like to go with, but
Budgeted operating
we gotta find the money. And on that note, what do we plan? What are the upfront costs of paying in full cash or financing? Pros and cons about the police cars.
Right at 250.
250?
Is that finance or is that paying straight out?
Straight out.
But we still have to recognize it's a capital expense, so it still shows up as an expense. The way you pay for it is not the same thing as the way you spend it.
So what about
And
the
that's
one
fully
time for
equipping
finance?
the cars.
That's everything, that's equipping the cars,
What's the yearly finance?
With, hang on,
It's just cash.
I'm sure the rate is pretty.
6%. With Ford Motor Credit, it was 8.84%, which is really high.
Pay cash and go on.
it's 6 point.
With First Bank of Alabama, for 36 months, 6%, 48 months, 6.25, and 60 months was 6.5.
So what was the yearly, I mean, what would be that yearly cost?
You just gotta have them?
Monthly is 7,607.
You get just one?
7,000.
It's $100,000 a year.
It's 100,000 a year, or we pay 250
You gotta pay you $250
and no interest.
and no interest, absolutely. I don't think it makes sense.
Do we have any extra bond proceeds that are not committed in maybe or something like that?
No, big difference.
I got a
think
chief
your bond
finance officer
proceeds
over
are
there,
pretty
you know.
well down there.
Is there any money anywhere
Improvement.
that can be used for cars?
You got capital improvement.
Your capital, you have money in the capital
Have we,
improvement fund.
what else is left on that list though?
He knew all
A lot of
the
stuff,
money.
well,
Sure.
is it, what else is left on that list that's a necessity? 'Cause I know some of the stuff is a wish, well, maybe not, no, it's not.
Everything that y'all talked about pretty well was on there. The police cars and then the K-9 vehicle, that's
But that's on
10,000.
But that's on.
What do we have left in the capital improvement fund?
Right now it's
It's over
600.
600,000, so that's where I was, if we pay cash, we have funding there.
So that would spend, that would.
Well, look, guys, that's the only thing I see we can do
If
with
you
police
pay
cars
cash,
is
you
pay
save money
cash.
over time.
Absolutely.
That fund, but it
At
saves
that
us,
rate.
it saves us $60,000 in interest by prepaying.
What would you do?
Right.
What about the fire department? Weren't you wanting to get on like a rotation with vehicles?
Yeah, I had one light duty vehicle in request this year to get on the every 3-year rotation like I had talked about previously to keep us from having a 20-year-old fleet of support vehicles.
Do you have any prices?
Can you get one of them vehicles like the Rex guy? Cause they ain't but 30,000 or
34.6.
and then we add your.
What was your,
What'd you get?
The 250s or 34.6?
the expedition, I'm sorry, yeah, the expedition was 54, 55.
At 34 sounding better.
Well, this was the 22-year state bid too. Everything went up $10,000 in 23. The F-150 is 44 this year.
That's standard across the board, so. I had requested 75 for vehicle and outfit, lights, command center, all of that stuff.
And that's for a brand new car, right, Nate?
Yes.
And you're replacing what against the Expedition?
Yeah, it would go in place of my Tahoe. My Tahoe would roll downhill. Cause my Tahoe's a 2012 model, it's 10 years old, 103,000 miles on it now. And it
How many
was
miles?
103.
Is that got a 5.3 motor in it? With me and Reed's got one of them, and they last 400,000 miles, just saying.
But
Just throwing that out there.
The problem that we run into is that we're so hard on our emergency response vehicles that we try to run them frontline emergency response for their entire lifespan, and they can't hold up to that.
Yeah.
We need to cycle them from emergency response to, less used, to running around painting fire hydrants and doing pre-plans, to going to school, so that we're not running them into the ground over 15 years and then they're no good anymore. Instead, we can get 24 years out of them because we're treating them, well enough to
And
make
no
them
matter what we
conservative.
think they're saying, he needs a fire truck and a car.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, we have to start that system, the staggering system of, or we'll be in a spot where we're about to be in where too many of them go down and we're gonna need 2 fire trucks, 4 cars, whatever the case may be.
And the
And,
longer you put it off, the more money
the
that
more
it
worse
does
it's
spend.
gonna get.
Well, we have $65,000-ish for payroll system, $250,000 for cars, so we have $310,000,
Can we get him,
which is
can
half
we
a
get him a
million.
car out of that money that we're gonna buy them cars out of?
Not unless you finance.
No, out of the, you just said it was 600 or something thousand, I mean, we gotta buy
That's
it.
all that's left
You,
though.
you have
But we
600,
gotta
but
buy
that
a
money,
car,
that
what we gonna
account
wait till
doesn't,
next year, and then all the cars tear up.
I can't
and
hear
he
you,
walking
Joe.
to
that
the home.
account doesn't replenish but about 30,000 a year. And, I mean, I think we need to plan rather than just,
We've been planning for years, he need a car, he been
I know
asking for
we
a
need to
car.
plan but you got this, you got your meeting next week with your tax thing as well.
But he been asking for a car though since I've been here. I mean, even if it's not a.
How much you need for, how much gonna get you what you want?
I had requested 75, that was what I had requested.
Can you deal with 60?
I'm just
So I
saying,
can't put lights on it, that's the cost of the vehicle.
Take the old lights off.
you can't, it has to be the same model car to use the.
Make a call.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's,
We'll go over it Wednesday.
You need to come Wednesday, chief.
That way we can have the
Get an
the
Explorer
financing.
I mean, it
instead
is
of
what
an
it is.
Expedition.
I
You gotta have a car.
Yeah, I mean.
I'm with you.
Well, we have the police taken care of, but we need to discuss adding his on top of that, 250.
So we have to consider
310,
the time clock system and vehicles.
Wednesday.
The vehicles, the police vehicles
Are on
are on your
tonight.
agenda tonight.
Right, but that's $260,000.
what's 75,000 times 62, plus 62,000? What's 75 plus 62?
37.
Plus 250.
Right, so
How much is
you're
that?
at $400,000 rounding, but that depletes all of the,
No, you got $200,000 left.
Yeah, cause there's 600, was it 630,000 or?
What's the, I was out, sorry, what was the name of the account? $600,000?
Yeah, you're gonna have two, if you do everything, you're gonna have $200-something thousand.
No, but what is the name of the account?
Capital improvement.
Okay. I mean, hell, that's what it's there for, we got
Let's
it.
hope nothing bad goes wrong with
But I'm
infrastructure.
just saying,
Even if you don't get the $75,000 car, he gotta have a car, so we know that, he gotta.
He may have, but you don't wanna deplete all your funds this year on capital.
Right. Well, we
But we also
go
have-
through with a sales tax increase, that's, millions coming in that are new that we can look at dividing up percentage wise on Wednesday.
And next year, we don't wanna be sitting at this meeting needing 2 cars.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what I'm
and next
thinking.
year, we could have that percentage of that increase going towards these cars.
So prevention.
Well, I mean, I understand you need the cars, but I'm saying also you only replenish that account $30,000 a year. So you don't wanna deplete that account and need something major, the dump truck go down, the sweeper.
We just got 2 new ones, so they're
We
good.
just got 2 new ones, but he has other equipment that costs.
I understand.
You don't want something to go wrong and you can't pay for it,
But
but you ain't got no money.
if we sit on that, just the more we sit on it and have that outlook on it, the worse things are gonna get. It's
It is.
piling up behind us.
question, where did the proceeds from the boot oil sale go? 215. Where did that fund go?
Nobody knows, or we
It's
ain't
in
got
right
it?
now, I just put it in general fund this morning.
Is it something that we can use for buying the police vehicles?
And then put the rest.
15,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's 215 in free money that we got from selling the blue ball property.
budget.
Which is
No,
not in the
okay.
budget.
I mean,
Which is
I
new
didn't
money.
have the.
She didn't allocate
Just
it
take
for
this,
something.
just take this car out of
No,
that
but
money.
that pays for almost all of the police vehicles, and then we have to take about 130 out of.
Instead of taking 200,000.
Instead of taking out 300 or 400.
But that's still not the
There you
same
go.
money, cause isn't that other money supposed to be used
What
for
other
certain
money?
things? The money that we're buying the police cars out of?
Capital improvement.
Yeah, the capital improvement.
We'll still need that for the capital improvements.
You got other capital improvements.
But today we sold the blue bell, we got a check for $215,000, it wasn't in the budget, and it can go to the police.
So everybody's getting a car.
So it's minus, it's
Nate's getting a
the
car and he's
capital
getting 4
expense is
cars,
minus
right?
215. Cause we're using that new
Nate's is
215.
not on the agenda tonight, I
Nate's is
haven't
not on the
seen.
We
it.
can-
I
we can
don't
add-
feel
What,
like
what,
that.
time out, I got a question. What's the difference between an Expedition and an Explorer, Nate? One of the new Explorers.
The Explorer isn't big enough to fit a command console in the back.
What's that?
Open the back of the car and look at it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come look at my Tahoe, I'll show you.
I mean, that don't, is that got the shelves and all that good
Yeah.
stuff?
You gotta have it.
I got one question, the car.
I still say put a camper shell on like what Masters has got and roll with it.
That's what the
If we're
F-250 is way more.
We're not replacing, we're adding.
To the fleet.
The 2005 F-150 that we wonder if it's gonna pull out of the parking lot every time we crank it up.
And it's done just fine.
That would become, I'd have to sit down and look at it to see if we either just turn it into strict, hydrant painting truck in case it quits, no emergency response kind of role, or if we would get rid of it, but I have not sat down.
Can you get some numbers and stuff together and be here Wednesday at 5 o'clock? Great. Alright, I like Lee's idea
That's what we're gonna do.
about,
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna approve the police cars tonight, it's already on the budget.
Yep.
We're gonna use 215 of Bluebell,
Funded from
Okay.
215.
That's
and
what
the
I
extra
wanna do.
comes out of
Capital
capital.
improvement, and we
Which
get a
is-
request from Nate for the next meeting.
He's coming
There's a
Wednesday.
blank on your agenda, so we'll
And
just
then
fill it in.
give us that for the next meeting, we'll approve yours for capital.
Now,
Okay.
now, time clock system, that can also be funded out of the capital improvements fund, right?
There we go.
So we can fund that out of there.
Wait a minute, a portion of it will.
You can't fund the whole 62 out of it, why can't you?
That's why I was saying you shouldn't spend the money on it, you could have bought that.
Well, you can still,
Out of the
we
215,
can still move the 215 around.
That's the thing, but Safe needs to introduce something, it's 5:59, so, I think Margaret's sitting outside. If you
Well,
can get her in.
Nancy was here, I
Or
just
Nancy.
came in, Nancy's got it.
Alright, go ahead, Miss Nancy.
All right.
Sorry we took so long, got a few minutes.
That is okay, I'm gonna hand these out to you. This is the, pass this down. This is for workforce ready transport that we've been, talking about. And this is money, this is for a pilot project. If you remember JARC, where we had the $25 an hour and $1 per mile, that would go towards public transportation for work-related activities. This is funding through the legislature, and we will have $40,000 that, if you all agree for the contract, that we would work with, public transportation to provide free transportation for individuals at 275% of poverty level or below to get them to and from work. And this contract has been agreed upon with DHR, with ALDOT, and East Alabama Regional Planning and Development
So
Commission.
40,000 is your operating budget for this plan?
This would be, yes, that would go directly to the city, to transport those people, those individuals that need transportation for work, to
Now,
and from work.
Is there extra cost involved besides the use of our vehicles that you would expect from the city?
No, this would
It's
go,
all encompassing.
yeah,
The
you
40
would get
be-
the compensation, for those trips.
Now, what is the, I mean, are they also paying fares as well on top of that, or is the
No, this would be
40,000 covered?
free, yeah, this would be free, and you all would get the $25 per hour and $1 per mile.
Are we paying for the gas and maintenance as with other?
Yes, yes.
The 20
And that's what the
$25 an
25
hour?
and the
$1
$1 per mile would cover. Now, a couple of things on here, and on top of the contract is the overview synopsis for each of y'all to look at.
I want some of that.
And it's really like JARC, I mean, how we did
I
JARC
got you.
before. Yeah, so right now, you know,
Mr.
three-
Wynn, have you looked at this?
I have not, just now.
Come on, Miss Margaret.
Yeah, we'll get Wynn liaison on it.
We-
but
they don't
think
talk
it's a-
business.
I think it's a good idea.
I like
I
it.
like it, I'm for
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's paying for itself, and we have
And it's
probably a little
40,000,
extra.
so, you know, after 40,000, yeah, and this contract goes through September
Is
30th.
it 40 a year, or is it just a 1-year contract
City
you get
of Top.
40,000?
Right now, it's 40,000 to get us through September.
So if they don't
30th.
get, if you don't re-up,
The
then
balance of this year.
there's a chance that the program goes away, if you don't get the 40,000.
Technically, yes,
Okay.
yes. Absolutely.
This is the,
These are the
when we
projections.
operated the JARC program, this is the same because the money goes to the city into
Yeah.
5311, it's treated as fare box.
Yeah.
You will be reimbursed $1 a mile, $25 an hour, and when we operated this program before, it actually more than paid for itself,
Yeah.
which meant the overage goes back into the operations of the 5311 program to you.
Okay. All right, we'll let Wynn look at it, and then we'll go from there, but I like all this.
Yeah.
Thank
yeah,
y'all.
Yeah, thank you very much,
All right,
appreciate
we're
it.
gonna. Yep, we need to discuss the salary replacement as a council. We need to know where we're putting them from. We know we're going AO 12. We need to step 2 or 3. It was recommended by HR to step 3.
I'm fine with 3, just because of degrees, and one's been doing the job for 6 years. I'm also fine with 2, if that's what we think we need to. I don't think step 1
No,
is
no, I think it's
necessary.
between 2 and 3.
But I also think if we don't like the step 3 idea, let's do a 6-month, not a probation here. What's the word I'm looking for? If they do good within 6 months, then they get a pay adjustment.
To the 3.
From 2 to 3.
Against the rules.
Okay, well, let's don't do that, because we've broken enough rules, so let's just go with step 3. What?
You do have a 6-month probation, but there is no increase in pay after 6 months.
What did the Auburn pay plan recommend for these positions, since we keep looking back at the Auburn pay plan? Because I know that they recommended something.
Sometimes we do, sometimes.
Recommendation.
For recommendation.
We paid for it.
We have, and that's a good
That's
thing,
what you
'cause
said you were gonna use.
they're
it for,
only
is
recommendations.
Just as guidelines. I know you have it in that file.
I knew it'd be in there.
Yeah.
I have one.
Okay, the city clerk was 66,872.
And how does that equate to the step 3 we were just talking about?
That's pretty close to the average of 13.
Good
AO12
observation, Tiffany
AO12
Nix.
probation. It's more, AO12 probation is more than that.
And what about the building code?
For the building services, Auburn said was 53,340, which is an AO9 step 2.
So how does that align with what we're talking about?
About $20,000 on
Less?
building services,
So the
less,
recommendation is direct, it's less than Auburn's recommendation?
and about $7,000 less on the clerk per year. Is
Well-
Auburn's recommendation
Alright, I got a question.
So Auburn's recommending less?
on both jobs.
By
Based
20
on
by 20,000 for one and by
7,000 for
7,000
another
for
one.
another.
I know we've got one that's got 2 masters, a bachelor's and an associate, and I know there's no municipal training involved, I get it. But we have to recognize 2 masters, an associates, and a bachelor's, I
No, we can
think.
give her the different steps for that, so I'm just, was just looking for the guidance.
I got you. So I say 3 or 2,
I'll say 3,
okay?
be done with it.
3?
And the recommendation from Jane is 3?
Yes, sir. For both.
And then for,
Need to move forward on this.
That's what we're trying to do.
and then for Whetstone, it's,
Same thing.
position was AO9, but we're saying
The recommendation was AO12, step 3,
Same thing.
which is $20,000 less than what we're.
more than what Auburn recommended.
I'm
And-
fine with step 3.
Okay,
Me too.
and then you've got, cause we're just gonna budget this for, we got a half a year left, correct? Ain't that how this would typically work?
Starting the next year. I mean, roundabout. Not a full year. 3/4.
So, alright, now another thing, I think Miss Alex probably needs to start, I know her pay probably wouldn't start till the 8th of the pay period, but she probably needs to be able to go down there and just get familiar with her staff, office, computers, and get her set up.
I think that's
That's the mayor's
Is
call.
that the mayor's call? Okay.
Do you have a plan in place to
You got a
transition
plan?
her?
I didn't mean to
I already
overstep.
talked to Kim about this, we're
Uh-huh.
gonna have a nice smooth transition.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Alright, well, what if
Y'all wanna go?
Adjourn
I didn't mean to get upset, Mayor. Sorry, dang.